Check 1 2. Check. Test. Testicles. Testes. I'm 6 years old. Welcome to the program. My name is Dean, and we got a full one for you today as we are just a day into the week. And joining me today, of course, our new intern. We introduced him to you yesterday. Please welcome Crier Media's newest man-turn, Lachlan Cross, ladies and gentlemen. Lachlan Cross joins us.
My unpaid internship continues.
Nice to see you. Yeah,
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We covered it in the podcast yesterday. You outlived radio. You made it.
Is that what they call it? Outlived it.
Yeah, you ran a good
race.
I
ran out of runway.
No, you ran a great race, and you were in it for like 33 years or something like that. And they say to you,
you make it sound like a marathon.
Listen, the other day your company's like, listen, you're so good for the company that we can't afford to pay you that salary because we're getting ready to launch a couple of radio stations into the sun, so you need to leave. And now you're my new intern, which, by the way, I don't think you can call a 54-year-old an intern. I think it's a man-turn. I know it's a man-turn. It's like a man-turnship.
All right. You pick whatever title. All right.
Yeah. No, you're a man-turn.
It's your wagon.
I know. Well, it's our wagon now.
By the way, right at the end of that 30-year marathon, I shit my pants. It's like, you always see those guys cross the finish line with like a big turn in their pants. And running down their leg. That was me.
That's how you know you love what you do, is especially with marathoners. Like, I want to have that concentration factor, like dedication of a marathon runner who can just run an extra 6 miles in his own turds. That's because I can't do anything with one in the chamber.
I've been running with a turd on my leg and in my pants for the last probably 3 years. All right, let's bring the guest on. Enough of this.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of Irpine, 5'11" to 6 feet tall. I don't know. I've never physically met the man, but we've talked to him like 1,000 times.
I got him in at about 5'10", 5'11".
Is he 5'10", 5'11", about 180? I'm going to say he's 180. Please welcome our correspondent from Irpine, Ukraine, just out of Kyiv, from the Ukraine, Alex Rebecca, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you. Good to see you. Good to have you. Let's see. Lachlan's getting. Oh, he's got his Slava Ukraine shirt on just for you. Yeah, he's getting undressed. Yeah, it's part of his new lifestyle. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, nice to see you. How tall are you? What are you like? Let's get because we've never met. We live in the age of like Zoom meetings, being friends with people, and like only screen time. How tall are you? What do you clock in at? What do you got?
Like, I don't know what it is in feet. 175.
What is 175? Look that up. 175 centimeters. What is it? Like, is that?
I think that's about 5'10".
Is it 5'10"? So 5'10".
Like
how much?
190 or something.
How much do you weigh? What do you got?
Me?
Yeah.
78
pounds.
Kilos.
Pounds? Are you sick?
100. What are you? 175? What?
175 centimeters.
78.
178. Yeah. Don't rip him off those extra 3 centimeters. He'll get really angry.
He's 5'9".
You're 5'9". All right.
Yeah.
You're 5'9".
Probably a $170, $175.
So about 175. And you look, by the way, like you've lost weight since the last time I saw you. Are you doing something different? Are you a lot more veggies, extra borscht? What's happening in your life?
I have a wife.
They got bombs dropping on them. They don't go vegan.
Oh, yeah. By the way, guys, here is the news. Me and my wife, we are pregnant. So we're expecting.
You like to spread it around. You know what Alex also is? He's a seed spreader. He's got 3 boys and another one in the oven. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And now we're expecting a girl.
Oh, she's super pregnant. Like, you already know the sex and stuff. Congratulations. How pregnant is she? How many months, dude? How many months?
5 months. So we are due in July. Exactly when my birthday is. So that's probably a gift for my birthday.
Oh, so the new baby is going to be born on your birthday? That's the due date?
That's awesome.
Close to my birthday.
Did you time conception with the due date?
What is that?
Conception. Like, that's when you make the baby.
They got bombs dropping on them. They're not doing any of that. They got more things to worry about, Dean.
I know.
Hey, listen, we're going to try to have sex around this time so that I have a kid at this time. That's not a conversation. in Ukraine right now.
I was, dude, you don't have to rib me. You don't got to give it to me. I was just creating conversation with Alex. I haven't seen him in a while. So just take it easy. Yeah. Okay. Congratulations. So you're going to have a boy and a girl. Artie's now 2, right? Because the war is 2 years old. So Artie's 2. Started like a month after he was born, correct?
Yeah. 2.
Yeah.
Wow, and he's got 3. He's got 2 boys from another marriage too.
Yes. Yeah. But they are adults. Like
they're older. Yeah.
19 and 28.
You know what we do in North America, Alex?
Dude, no. Can we not just back that up for a second? Like, we talked to Alex about war stuff. Let's talk to him about his staying power.
Yeah.
He's got 28, 19, 2, and he just delivered the goods yet again. Yeah.
You know what? Can I give you a suggestion for the girl name? Maybe a middle name?
Yeah.
Mulligan. You might want to call this one something Mulligan.
Vasectomy.
Mulligan.
Mulligan means Mulligan means like oops.
I'm learning something here.
No, I bet you this is planned. Well, congratulations. Is your lovely wife over the moon? Is she excited as well?
Oh yeah, we are both excited. Like we didn't expect that to happen, but that's such a
Mulligan's a good name.
Yeah. Maybe oops.
I didn't expect it to
Mulligan.
happen. Hang on, Alex. Hang on. I didn't expect it to happen. Can we just uncover that statement first? You know what happens. You've been down this road 28 years ago. What happens when you, because when I was young, my mom was like, I'm like, where do babies come from? She goes, you love someone so much that you hug them, and then all of a sudden there's a baby. And I'm like, wow, that's good. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for a child, there's no better hugger in the world than Alex de Rebecca.
Apparently.
Thank you.
A good hugger.
Hugger,
yeah. Good hugger.
Do me a favor, don't hug my girlfriend, please. Anyway, nice to see you, Alex. How you been? I mean, we got lots to talk about. We've got Ukrainian aid to talk about. We've got some foreign stuff to talk about, foreign policy stuff. I want to talk about Navalny. I don't know where you want to start, but you're 2 years into this thing now, and we want to talk to you about what's going on in your life and with the Ukrainian people today. So, point and shoot, sir. Where do you want to start today?
Yeah, let me just give you a story. We had a walk yesterday, and then on our walk we met. We were just walking, and then there's a couple walking past and saying hi. I'm like, hi, and then I'm looking at them, and I'm like, but this is my teacher of singing, who I used to go to before the invasion. And we stopped and started talking, because we haven't seen each other for 2 years. We started speaking to each other, and then I looked at the telephone, and I was like, "Is it March 2nd today?" And she's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Do you remember that 2 years ago on this specific date, I actually helped to evacuate them from Irpin?" And it was like, wow, we hadn't seen each other for 2 years, and we met on the date 2 years after I visited Irpin the last time, and I helped them to get their stuff and their cat and move out of the city. And then basically 2 days after that, there were intel and reconnaissance groups from Russian army who were shooting people in the city, and there were lots of shelling, bombing, and in fact the apartment that is next door to them was shelled. So she's like, "Of course I remember. I really thank you for probably saving our lives," and that was just, for me, it was like, how is it possible that 2 years passed and on the same day we meet right here in Irpin? They are back, we are back, and like everything around is being rebuilt and reconstructed. We are back to normal life, at least in this part of the city, part of the country. But of course, it's totally different mood and something that we can further discuss.
Is there? Yeah, that's a good pivot, Alex. Is there a way for you to encapsulate maybe even just the difference in the mood in Ukraine right now, comparatively speaking to the beginning of the war? Is because from the reporting that we're getting in North America is that the struggle is and we'll get more into it based on this 2-year mark. I think we got bombarded with a lot more coverage, but it does seem a little like it just seems like there might be a cause for concern.
Yeah. The ammunition,
on help
support
from the West.
Yeah.
But on the ground, how can you give us a sense of the mood or a change?
Yeah, actually, we had a discussion with my wife, and in the current situation, I'm telling her stop reading news because she reads news and they are not so positive very often, and she starts crying and getting into depression. I'm like, why are you reading the news then? You'd better just, if something important happens, I'll tell you. You don't read the news, do something else, take care about the kid, think about another kid that is coming. And but she cries. And I talked to several of our friends, of the acquaintances and relatives, and basically everyone in the same situation. Like everyone is in the word that you use, Lachlan, concern, that's probably the right word. We're all concerned. We are not happy about what is going on. We expect the support. Well, there is a support, of course, there is a support, but the support is like this, and we need like this. We need bigger support, more support. Yeah. We are expecting the Congress to finally vote for this. For this money, because without this money we will be losing land. And my wife is like, okay, we stepped back again, we are like stepping back, and we are giving away the land. Finally they will reach Kiev in this way.
Well, and you're not just losing land, Alex, you're losing life.
Yeah,
you're losing lives, right?
Yeah. And to that point, Alex, and I think it's a great conversation. What do you read in the newspapers? Is it any different than we're reading here? And I'll tell you that kind of the narrative that we have here is that Canada comes over. I think Trudeau the other day made an announcement, came to Ukraine, said, we're all in still. We're not going anywhere. Here's $3 billion to help with the effort. When it comes to free trade, when it comes to ammunition, we're going to start leaning on a few other countries to do the same thing. But the linchpin here seems to be the United States in this $60 billion package, which is being held up really by Putin proxies, right, over in the United States, which is the GOP or the Republican Party. So is that being reported? And is it doom and gloom in like the Kyiv Independent? Or is it, hey, listen, things are happening. We're this close, or is it just no? Like, what's the story? I guess that's being told to the Ukrainian people in the news.
From what I feel, the narrative is close to what you are describing. So there's no what do you call it? Pink glasses in the news. We all see
no rose-colored glasses. Yes,
yeah, rose.
It's an English term, but yeah, not it's I think it's from a song, but
yeah, dude, he's being bombed. He can make the glasses whatever color he wants.
That's a good point. Purple. Go with throbbing.
Yeah, aubergine, taupe. It can be any color he wants. So yeah, rose-colored pink glasses. But it's not as sanitized as we get over here. We get spot reports of it. But what is it like over there? Is the overwhelming consensus of media in Ukraine that we better get aid now, we better get money now, we better get ammo now, or we're in for it in the spring and summer? Like, what's the narrative?
Yeah. We all, like, there's talks about support that we need, but we can also discuss what it is not spoken about. There's no speaking about negotiations. There's no words about giving away land. So we stand still on the fact that we need to go back to our borders as of 1991. So Crimea is Ukraine. The east of Ukraine that is occupied is Ukraine and needs to be returned. Yes, we are giving away the land as we discussed, but this is just to save lives. Of course, we continue losing the people. That's natural. This is the war. But stepping back, we are saving the lives of those defenders. And also, yeah, I don't know if you know, but Zelensky gave a big press conference last week, and he first ever publicly admitted that we lost 31,000 warriors. That was first time ever. There had been speculations on this figure, but finally he said that. And honestly, I had thought that we had lost more.
Yeah,
31,000. It's a big figure, but I had thought like 50, 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I thought that number was commensurate with Russian losses until I did some research, and I know when he announced, I think it was between 31 and it was like around 31, 33.
Russia's up above 100.
Dude, Russians are up to like 200-300. Like it's
200.
It's 10 to 1.
Actually, excuse me. Zelensky said that the Russians lost 180. But together with the injured, it's probably half a million.
Half a million. So,
a lot of the conversation right now in Western Canada, in the West, is with respect to Ukraine, is that these countries are stepping up, and I think it's probably in the absence of the aid from the United States. Countries are stepping up, like Canada. European nations are saying, "Hey, listen, we're signing security deals," and a lot of this news came on the second anniversary of the war, which is on February 24th. So that press conference you're talking about, 2 years. That's insane.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the process is to get Ukraine into the UN, but this seems positive on my first blush, like, look at it, Alex. It seems like these security deals with these separate countries gives a sense that of belonging to the UN. Is that how Ukraine is looking at it? Is that how you and your friends and people that are getting this information view it, or is it it's still just not enough?
Well, it's a good kind of PR action, I'd say. You probably mean NATO, not UN, right?
NATO. Sorry, NATO.
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah.
But I think it's done in order to show to you, first of all, to the Ukrainian public that there is something done on the security guarantee level. But in fact, we do not believe any security papers, because, as we already discussed once, in 1994, Ukraine gave away the nuclear weapons in exchange of security guarantees from US, Great Britain, and Russia. Mm-hmm. Russia attacked us. US and Great Britain are actually not just supposed, they are obliged to help us. They already have to help us. We don't have to ask for the support from the US and the UK. They just have to do it because we have this paper signed. So now, honestly, I do not really trust those security papers. That's good that something is being done and that Zelensky goes to those countries. And by the way, with the security guarantees, they also provide some support already, like money, weapons. So that is important while we are waiting for the support from the US. But other than that,
on the surface, it's not viewed very well. That makes sense now, right?
So Alex, let me ask you a couple questions. How is the narrative around the aid that you're not getting from the United States? How is that playing out in Ukraine? Like, are Ukrainians aware of Russia's influence in the United States, or do they just look at it like that's the United States and they're having a political? Because the narrative over here, right, is Putin basically owns the GOP. He owns the Republican Party. He owns the certain people that are actually holding this bill up, and they're doing it on behalf of Donald Trump. So are you getting that same narrative, or are you getting the narrative that the United States is broken and the United States does not want to help Ukraine and they're fighting for that aid? Like, what's the story that's being told there now?
Well, this is probably the first time I hear about what you said, that Putin bought some of the Republican Party members. I really don't know. So this is not the narrative we hear. We actually hear that this is Trump's play in the election campaign. Mm-hmm. He just doesn't want. Actually, from what I understand, that he doesn't care much about Ukraine at this point. He cares a lot about the border, but he wants to freeze this topic until he's elected. So he does everything possible to stop it. And the Republican Party says, okay, if we do not solve the border issue, then Ukraine should wait. And by the way, also Israel and also Taiwan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's my understanding.
That's
part of the narrative they attached. So what's happening over here is very interesting, right? Is through, and this is it's happening in Canada, it's happening in the United States. Is we have a conservative party of Canada and the United States. They've got the Republican Party, very, very similar, and they both repeat anti-Ukraine messaging, anti-aid. One side of their mouth, they'll go, we need to protect the people of Ukraine. We need to help the people of Ukraine. And then when it comes to passing a bill to give Ukraine aid, in Canada's case, free trade, and it's happening in the States with a guy named Mike Lee, who's the Speaker of the House, and he takes his orders from Donald Trump. Here,
it's a little more complicated to that. I mean, you are very simplifying it.
Yeah. Here it happens. Yeah, I'm simplifying it for geopolitical and speed reasons.
I think the skid marks are a little longer, Alex.
So, okay. But here we've got a guy named Pierre Poilievre, who you and I have talked about in our DMs, right? He's the leader of the Conservative Party. He voted against a free trade agreement for Ukraine to help the people of Ukraine because he didn't think that you guys should have a carbon tax, and he doesn't like the carbon tax that's here. Can you, like, from a perspective of what's going on in your country, can you speak to how petty that sounds? Carbon taxes and, trying to put up more fences at the Mexican border, or the genocide of the Ukrainian people?
I mean, I'm speechless. Yeah. Sometimes you ask questions that I cannot answer.
You know what? Listen, Alex, I think
I want his answer. I want to wait. Yeah. I want to watch him bake on this because, dude, like there are political ecosystems in our country and in the United States that actively work against, and they're conservative in nature, work against supporting the people of Ukraine who are being invaded by fucking monsters.
Is it fair to do that to Alex though? I mean, I'm just from the perspective of us being so removed from this, our day-to-day lives are like, we'll turn on the TV at dinner.
Totally, but like he's got to know what's happening over here too, right? Yeah, I know, but like I don't know what story's being told over there because everything's so regionalized, right? And Russia's got a foothold into information there, and the Ukrainian people are trying to, explain everything to people. So I want Alex, I want you to know that, like, these people are supporting the talking points of one Vladimir Putin, and they all line up behind Christian Orthodox religion, Christian nationalism, the denazification of certain things, right? Like all of these conservative, neoconservative movements are aligned, which is why Canada is all in Ukraine, because there is a democratic issue in Ukraine, and the democratic issue in Ukraine is the same one you have, is the same one we have, and it's the same one the United States has.
Yeah. I mean, this is I'm sorry, I will not answer your question, but it makes me think of the interview that Putin gave to Carlson. You've probably seen it, yeah.
Tucker. What did you make of that?
Yeah, but I mean, 200 and what 200 over 200 million views. I mean, that's like, and there's so many people who watched it and said, okay, this is. But Putin said that he's not going to attack Europe. He just wants to take his land. And I understand this is such a huge weapon. The information, false information, disinformation, and misinformation is such a great, strong weapon that is basically killing people. And also the money, so that so many people in the democratic countries are just being bought. And they are playing the democratic games being paid, basically, like paid puppets.
It's unfortunate. I think the tough part about this, when we're talking to you, Alex, is that they're using Ukraine as they're politicizing it. And so when we're talking to you, you're in the middle of it. Your friends and family are dying to keep the West safe, and the West, there's a faction, and it's not a majority. I'm telling you that right now. There's a faction of the population that is attempting to try to politicize and use it as a political tool to get what they want. And it's disgusting. And it doesn't just happen in the West. It happens all around the world. And it's okay for you to be wildly bothered by that question and struggle to answer it. Just so you know. You know what I think, we can pivot from that. I think it's interesting that your president Zelensky is kind of changing the conversation a bit. I read a part of an interview that he did recently where he said, I don't think we should be talking about why Ukraine is still fighting. We should be talking about why Putin is still able to continue. And the way he framed that for me was interesting, because we put all these sanctions and all this effort is being done. And you've already said that, Ukraine, the country, is looking at it as, yeah, that's nice, but, and that's kind of what Zelensky is saying in a roundabout way. We need to stop Putin. This isn't about helping Ukraine. You guys need to find ways of stopping this man. He's killing not only his own people, but thousands of Ukrainians, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think that, I hope that lands a little. Do you think that'll land a little bit better? That pivot to no, you're not helping me. Go stop this maniac.
Yeah, that's a good switch. I didn't watch that interview, but this is a great thought. We got to stop him. This is the main goal, and we just have to repeat it all over again to people who are deceived, to people who are paid. I mean, he killed Navalny. He showed the entire world that he can do whatever. He will not stop.
Care.
He doesn't care. So the entire, my wife cries at times and says, well, how is it possible? The entire Western world is watching it. They cannot do anything just to stop him, like kill him, I mean, and I don't know what to answer her. I don't know. Why? The Western world is 25 times bigger in terms of GDP, and they spend the same amount of money that Russia spent for the war. I mean, for me, it's not comprehensible as well. I mean, $200 billion, that's what Russia spent. The entire Western world spent the same in 2 years. Why can't West?
It's a complete wartime economy in Russia right now. Like everything, the entire focus is this war. They've completely shifted the entire economy, right?
Yeah, 40% of their economy is directed at war, and the West spends like what? 0.45.
Yeah, I think like it was like 0.5, 0.6, but I think you're supposed to spend like 2% of your GDP specifically with NATO, and countries aren't doing that. That was another bone of contention the other day. Trump's like, hey, if you don't pay your bill with NATO, you should be wiped out by Putin. And Putin's like, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we see it all the time. And back to Putin and Navalny, which you mentioned. Was that a shock to the people of Ukraine? And because there's two competing narratives I find with, and listen, it's social media, so you never really know, is that Navalny was possibly the savior of democracy in Russia, and then there's that other competing narrative that, well, he's Russian, he just represented a different group of Russians that didn't like the ruling group of Russians. But how did that play out in Ukraine?
We didn't care much, honestly. No. I mean,
it's a bigger deal outside of that area of the world. Everybody was like, shocked over here, right?
Well, I was a bit shocked because I was trying to watch to follow Navalny and watch his videos, and when my wife just said to me, Navalny died. I learned it from her, and then I started browsing the news, and then I saw, yeah. But I saw lots of posts on Facebook, like somebody asked, do you think it will change anything? And all the comments were like, among Ukrainians, the comments from Ukrainians were like, nothing. It will change nothing completely. Like, no, there will be no protests, nothing of the kind. You probably saw that 16,000 people showed up for his funeral. 16,000 people.
16,000 people showed up chanting, Putin killed Navalny, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't see anybody get arrested, but the previous
hold on. I thought it was the vaccine that got him.
No. But I didn't see anybody get arrested at his giant memorial, but you saw people
Pfizer.
Yeah, it wasn't Pfizer. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
but
I mean,
there were people arrested. There were several dozens people were arrested, but I'm sure that they will just die. The entire thing, Yeah. Russians will not protest. Okay, they can say glory to Navalny or stop the war, and that's it.
Did you hear about, speaking of Russia? Did you hear about this program that Putin has started to like a flow-through program to have people immigrate to Russia from Western countries that he started? They had a Canadian family that went over there, the Feenstras. You haven't heard about this?
I can't wait for Alex to see this.
Oh, my God. First of all, your thoughts on any American or Canadian that chooses to move to Russia?
I mean, idiots. without any respect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the propaganda works on both sides of the border, right? But this, and I have to just point this out. So this guy is an Orthodox Christian. So again, right, all the people that are moving to, his name's Arndt Veenstra. All the people that are like Australians, Americans, people from Denmark, Holland, Canada, are being offered asylum.
This is happening, Alex.
Dude, they're being offered asylum in Russia.
And again, it's not
asylum, a prison.
I know. But they're being offered asylum in Russia.
This is a thing, Alex. This is happening
from the tyrannical Western world, where the LGBT, so the people moved literally because they're afraid of gay people. That's what they said. This is the gentleman. His name.
That's the reason.
He moved from an army of. This is no word of a lie. Father of Christian Canadian family that moved to Russia. Posted rambling 18-minute video kissing Russia's ass. Wife nowhere to be seen. That was in response to another video, because when they got there, you'll like this. They bring a whole bunch of money, put it in a Russian bank. They go to take money out. They're like, sorry, you're not allowed to touch that. And they're like, what are you talking about?
They froze their accounts.
They froze all of their accounts and told them that the farm that they had picked out for them, they couldn't have anymore because, well, we need to make sure that you guys aren't Canadian spies. So this is Arndt and Anissa Feenstra. They're from Ontario. They said it was God's will that they get away from the LGBTQ left-wing stuff in Canada because Russia's a way better place. It's a Christian Orthodox nation, and it would stick up for Western it would kill Western values, and they've got Christian values. So they immigrated this year and decided that they needed to become part of Russia. And not only become part of Russia, but they've absolved themselves. They've given up their Canadian citizenship and everything, because in Russia, they've been convinced that Vladimir Putin will turn Russia into an Orthodox Christian nation where gay people don't multiply in incredible numbers and their kids will never grow up to be gay. So some of the things he said in it, he talked about apologizing to the Russian people. He said, his thoughts in a previous video, which he was forced to take down by the Russian government, where he talked about having his money stolen by the Russian government, and his wife was crying, saying they can't afford food. Then he said, I really want to be Russian, not Canadian. I'll play a little bit of the video for you. It's truly spectacular.
In there again today at the bank, the ladies were just super friendly, super, like they could do everything for us. But unfortunately, they are also bound by the system. They can't change that. And I said to them too, it's not their fault. Like, yesterday, I think I left there kind of annoyed, and I actually apologized to them today if I was annoyed. It's not their fault, and I realize that. It's just, for us, it's frustrating. What other comments? There was a bunch of different comments. People were blaming the government. It had nothing to do with the government. Government does not, other than that they wrote the law initially, but those are good laws. It's got nothing to do with them. They are not, nobody seized our accounts because of whatever. It's just simply the system. It's just the way it is. One thing that also made us want to pull it down and make this video in hopes of explaining it better, we were alerted also about a news story. Anissa put a little clip in that video of her venting her frustrations. And I feel like that news story that I read anyway took that little clip and made the whole story about that little clip. And it was like a minute-long segment where she was speaking. And I don't think it accurately reflects the entire video that we put up. And that's why, again, we took it down, because it's not reflecting who we are and what we feel. We have no desire to leave this country. Yes, in frustration, she said, I'm so frustrated, I feel like just going home. Why does she say that? Because at home, we can understand the language. It's English. And that's again, that's going to sound funny. We're not upset that you speak Russian. We have to learn the language, and we are going to learn the language, and we are learning the language. It's going to take time. But she's just frustrated with it all, because at home, it's just simpler for us, right? Any new immigrant to any country will face the same thing. People coming to Canada, I've never realized what you all have to go through. Now I get it.
Oh, and now he's sympathetic for immigration policies in Canada.
And you know in your head what you want to say, but it can't come out the way you want to say it. You speak through this interpreting thing.
He's an idiot. Dean, turn him off. Oh my God.
Idiot.
He deserves everything. The problem I have with it, I'm so sick to my stomach. Dean has played that video like countless times, Alex, on this podcast.
What a fucking idiot that guy is.
I'm so grossed out by it, Alex, because he took his kids there. He's got like 15 kids, and his kids,
he does, because he believes in Jesus, and people that believe in Jesus that much don't like prophylactics. Of course he has. I'm thinking maybe Alex believes in Jesus. He's got like 1,000 kids too. You don't know.
So I think Alex just believes in hugging.
Yeah, really close hugging. Yes. So to your point, now they're part of a program that Putin is running, where he's inviting people from Western countries over, and he gets them to go on YouTube channels. So that's what these people did. They get on their first YouTube. When they get there, they're like, the government stole all our money. We have no food. We have no way of buying anything. And within 12 hours, that video was viral over here. It come down off of Twitter, meaning they were forced to take it down.
Yeah.
And then that video is 18 minutes long, and it is all their fault. It is not the part of the Russian government. It's all language barriers. So do you think someone went and had a chat with them?
I'm actually so happy that such videos become viral. And they show the real story.
You know what? That guy was in a room with somebody with a gun.
Oh, really?
I'm sure of it.
Yeah. But can you, like,
we're going to need you to retract.
What's that, Alex?
Well, maybe he believes in Jesus so much.
Oh, he really does. Like, there are people around the world that's the narrative, that they think there's one world leader that's sticking up for Christian values. So we need to go there. We need to go to the homeland, because The gays don't exist. Left-wing ideology, Western democracies, and their poison don't exist. Dude, it's working. That's my point. It's working over here.
Yeah. Oh my, that's so funny. That's so crazy. I mean,
it's nuts. It's absolutely insane.
What a brochure that would have to be, right? Like, what a sales job. You know, like people like me that are like really skeptical of giving anybody money for a timeshare or like a vacation or whatever. Like all the things I know to be true about Russia. You would have to ignore all of them, and it would have to be one hell of a PowerPoint presentation to get you to move there, right? Or you would have to be the dumbest fuck on the planet to take.
You know what, Alex? Please do me a favor. We got to have you back in the next couple of months with an update, which I know Dean and will do. But I think you should go to that Crier media page, okay, crier.co, and read that article, okay? Get a good sense of it. Then videotape you telling your friends and family about that family.
Yeah.
I need to see. I don't even care if it's in your native tongue. Just do it. Just tell the story and get their reaction about a farmer in Canada who's worried about the overly woke government in Canada, sells everything, packs him and his kids up, and goes to Russia to live a better life. And they get pooped as soon as they hit the ground.
Running from gays.
I can't wait, Alex, for you to retell that story over beers on a Saturday night dinner.
Dude, yeah. You got to record yourself and everybody's reaction going, hey, get this.
Laughing hysterically.
There's these hillbilly Canadians that moved to Russia because they wanted to get away from gay people. And
then play them the 18-minute rambling video of that guy looking terrified about his wife, and then his wife nowhere. You can't even hear her. Like, she's nowhere. They put her in another building to record that video. Yeah, keep her over here because she's the one that's beaking off.
Yeah.
And he's upset about misrepresentation when his wife went, they stole all our money and we can't buy food. Of course, that's the clip we're going to play in North America, you morons.
You got to watch the 30-minute video of them tractor shopping in Russia. Might be one of the funniest things you've ever seen. He's like, so we're over here looking for tractors, and doesn't appear to be many places to buy them, and didn't find a tractor.
Or is a supermarket for tractors?
Yeah, it's like you just thought there'd be like a tractor supermarket. And then there's another one where they're like, looks like the sanctions aren't working. We're here in a mall in Russia, and there's literally nobody in this mall. It's like a North Korean like staged mall where you're like, that's a movie set. And he's like, oh, I got kids stuff over here, and there's nobody in the mall. And there's a guy walking by him going, what the fuck are you doing? Countryside Acres, YouTube, Countryside Acres. Go and find it on YouTube. All their videos are there. You can watch it, and I want you to Lachlan's point, show all your friends in Ukraine. Go, these idiots. Yeah. And then I want the reaction.
Yeah, you're welcome for the comedy. We had to leave you with something today, Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Dumb Canadians. You're welcome. And congratulations on your growing family, Alex.
Thank you, my friends.
Way to deliver the goods.
Yeah, please, middle name. Please call her Mulligan.
Nope, don't do it. Don't listen to him. Alex De Rebekov at De Rebekov on Twitter is where you can find him. Alex De Rebekov, Ukraine. Find him on Facebook. I almost said FaceTime. FaceTime him. Alex, what's your phone number? No, I'm kidding. But make sure you follow this young man, and make sure that you tune in every single time he is on with us, because I tell you what, he's a breath of fresh air, and always great to catch up with you. Great to see you.
Slava Ukraine.
Yeah.
Heroям slava. Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
Anytime.
Good to see you, Alex.
Alex De Rebekov, ladies and gentlemen. What a bright light he is in my life.
He gives me hope. You can see that the impact the war is having on him. We've had him on now how many times? 20 times?
Way more.
And today I can feel that just there's a sense of hopelessness when he's talking about how the rest of the world is viewing this, right? Like he's got to live with it. And I mean, he's got to wake up every morning and look out the window to see if a drone bombed an apartment building, within his view, right? Like, I mean,
you know what I got out of that too is, I mean, these are just feelings. Obviously, Alex not here to tell us. Almost like, well, this is the norm. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Maybe like, hopelessness is the wrong word, but a settling into this is our lives, and there's a possibility without help from the U.S. and other countries that Russia's going to continue to push back at us, right?
Yeah, and you said something in the podcast too, as we were talking about Alex. We were talking about what the narrative is here, right? How there's the Russian narrative and the Ukrainian narrative over here too. And I was shocked that shocked him. Like I was shocked that he was unaware that, you actively had Canadian and American Democratic parties, institutions, Conservative Party and Republican Party that are not just politicizing it, but trying to prevent the people of Ukraine from getting the aid they so dearly need. And as much as I feel bad about it, I'm glad that he knows. He and I share text back and forth. He's concerned about Canada. Ukraine is concerned. They love Justin Trudeau. That's the face that they put on Canada, this giving, hey, we're here to support our people. We understand the Ukrainian diaspora and Canada is very important to, the culture of Canada, the people of Canada, the built portions of Western Canada. So like he gets it. And then you've got the Conservative Party on top of that going, yeah, good, great, but let's just vote against it when nobody's looking. Right. And so he sent me a news article from CBC. This is about, a month ago. I said a month ago. He's like, is this real? And I'm like, unfortunately it is. And here's why. And we don't have the religious conversation, right? Because you're respectful of his religion, and I don't really know what his religion is. And when you tune him into the idea that, the conduit that Putin has into the Western world has to come through those ideologies, he believes it, he buys it, he sees it. It's just depressing. It's got to be depressing for him knowing that, the Western world in total is fighting over whether or not to save that country and save democracy.
I think more than anything, I think that sense of hopelessness, that shock, is that this campaign of misinformation, which has been going on for years, might be having an impact on their ability to fight the war. That's got to be hard for him to hear, right? And it is. Largely, it is having an impact, especially with the aid package from the United States, which is being held up. And again, like I said in the podcast, it's a little bit more complicated than the quick strokes we were trying to give him, because I think there's more to it. I think there's an understanding that I think there's a sense from a segment of the population in the United States that this isn't their war. It's not their responsibility. Why are we spending this kind of money? We have all these problems, and maybe we'd be better to focus on these issues at home than spending billions and billions of dollars trying to help a country that we don't know anything about. And I don't know if it's always a political thing as much as it is a take care of our own ideology, which lives, I think, a little bit, which grows a little bit more on a right-wing side of the fence.
Well, and it's easy,
right?
If you think about that article, or you think about those two narratives, right? Whether it's like, hey, this is Canada, we're fighting democracy, because there's a bunch of stuff that goes into Ukraine, Russia, Canada, Western world that not a lot of people think about. They think about it in binary terms, right? Where it's like, well, that's our money, we should keep it here, we shouldn't send it over there. That's caveman thinking. You don't. That's got nothing to do with it, because a lot of the help and aid that we're proposing comes in, free trade. It comes with old ammunition we're never going to use that just sits in storage that we could just
comes
give people.
From contracts for companies in Canada and the United States to build the equipment that they need in Ukraine. So it's actually helping out the economy,
correct,
in Canada as well.
Correct, because we're taking intellectual property, items, assets that belong to Canada in some cases, and this is how you fund other wars for people where other allies come to you. You're like, okay, here's the inventory, all we got. Here's all the stuff that's been sitting in a warehouse or sitting in a field or sitting somewhere that we can't use. Here's our plan to replenish that. You can take the old stuff. We'll get busy making new stuff. That's going to create jobs. That's the billions of dollars. So in the case of $3 billion that goes in the recent aid package that we were talking about, you know, of that $3 billion, there's a flywheel effect in Canada for the economy that some of those billions, maybe one or two of those,
it's worth saying out loud. It's not a check. Here Correct. You go, Ukraine.
Correct. We're not just sending them money. We're not giving them free stuff. These are not gifts. They work into your GDP. They work into how you do business as a military, business as a country with other countries. So there's that part of it. And then there's, what are we fighting there? Well, the same institutions that Ukraine is fighting, which is disinformation, which is dictatorship, which is fascism, that's swirling around the drain of that area. That's why everybody's putting all of their resources into it, because that touches us here. Anti-democratic messaging, fascist messaging that comes out of Russia. So all those resources go in there, but they also help us here. And when you say, oh, that's a faraway land, it couldn't be further from the fucking truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. You've got Canadian, Ukrainian diaspora. You've got democracy at stake regionally, digitally. You've got messaging, disinformation, everything that goes into the things that we're experiencing here, which is all being fought in Ukraine. So when everybody says, well, I don't want my money going there, you don't understand any of it. And it is all a load of shit. And it is more Russian propaganda is what it is. Or it's just an idiot that believes the wrong shit.
I think Zelensky's new sort of approach to the messaging as well might help in that regard.
Yeah.
Let's start asking not why aren't you helping us? Let's start asking, why have you not done more to stop Putin? And again, I brought it up in the podcast, and I think that's a good way of sort of getting us on board a little bit more, right? Because that's a good point. That and you know what? You can also look at, you know, the death of his, you know, his only only person that put his hand up and said, I'll run against him. And the guy's dead. Right? Like, come on.
You know what it is I don't understand any support, like, at all. Like, you know, every time you hear about ratcheting up sanctions against Russia for a new thing they did, or a new bombing, or more genocide, or murdering another political opponent, or arresting people, you're like, I'm surprised there are sanctions left, because when you invade a country, you start murdering and raping people, you'd think you'd apply all the sanctions first, right? And then here's the other thing. There are people,
to be fair, though, to the sanctions, Dean, they're coming up with new ways.
I know. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of going right to the end first, right? Like, just cut off the fucking wart. Do it right now. Just do what you have to do. And so we haven't really kneecapped them at all, because they're like, oh, we're going to really ratchet it up this time. Well, that's like 12 times they ramped up sanctions. So it's like, okay, well, when are we getting to the point where you just shut off all their banking? When are we doing that? When are we getting to the point where you just stop doing business with literally really key strategic Russians, Chinese people, people from different countries that are feeding into what purports to give Putin what he needs to be able to keep this war going? And
you know why we don't?
Apparently we continue to kind of play. Yeah, I know why. It's because
we crashed the world economy.
I know.
So everyone's scared of that. It's always going to be about money, and it always has been about money, unfortunately. And you know what? Russia has been dealing with sanctions. This isn't a new ball game, right? This isn't a new approach. They've been dealing with it, and they've been finding creative ways around the sanctions for years. So it's like anything, right? Like you put up obstacles, and people find ways of working around it. Unfortunately, I still love the fact that we can put a smile on Alex's face when we do have him on, right?
Yeah, it's because we joked around and made fun of the fact that he keeps getting people pregnant. Easy.
All right, brother.
That's the most virile man in Ukraine right there. I just can't stop impregnating women. Good for him, though. I mean,
Number 4.
Yeah, he's on like an NBA pace.
Good for him. We should let him know. How's your basketball skills? You could play in the NBA
or the NFL. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for doing this. Lachlan Cross. Great to see you. You can find Lachlan Cross here, as we've recently uncovered, at Lachlan Cross.
Thank you for that.
On Twitter. You can get him at Crier Media. His new Crier Media email address is coming. Make sure you download and subscribe to this podcast. It's the only place you're going to find Lachlan Cross, ladies and gentlemen, from now on, is right here at Crier Media.
My unpaid internship continues. All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Lachlan.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Cross. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Thanks for being part of the show. Thanks to Alex for being here as well. Really appreciate his time. Man, oh, man, anytime some guy takes a break from documenting war crimes and being in a war to have a laugh with you and kind of get the community messaging out, lean on your MPs. Mock people who do not support Ukraine. Make fun of any politician who repeats talking points of one Vladimir Putin. Absolutely up one side and down the other. You do not give a shit about fascism. You do not care about the genocide of groups of people. What you have to do is give a shit about the people who are being invaded. It's the people of Ukraine. It's really simple. By a guy who will murder anybody. And by the way, if you agree with any of the things he did, you're a mess. You have no friends. No one will like you. Probably no one does. That's why you're angry. You're like, I'm going to like that guy. No one likes him too. Yeah, losers flock together. Have fun, losers, and have fun, winners. Have a great day. Thanks for being part of the show. Really appreciate it. As always, brought to you by our friends at Can Torque. They make rugged, hard-working torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts, the very best in sales, service, rentals, calibration, maintenance, and custom fabrication of industrial torque tools. Every tool rental, calibration, repair, custom fabrication, and distribution opportunity under one roof. For 20 years, Colin's been making torque tools, industrial torque and bolting tools made for every bolting and torque tools application you can imagine. Doesn't matter what it is. He does boring tunnel machines. He does forestry equipment, nuclear equipment. He makes these tools for the best industries in the business from around the world, from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Canada's leading industrial tool experts for over 20 years. They want to apply their best case scenario to your worst case scenario to give you a bolting solution that you cannot find a solution for. Doesn't matter what it is. All you need to do to check them out is go to their brand new website at Cantorque. Go to cantorque.com. Their products, services, and podcasts available. You can also get in contact with them and check out a full range of all their products and services. Go to cantorque.com for more information. Brought to you by our ladies at Muse Massage Spa as well. How about Emily and Riley? Great podcast. It's called the Muse on the Mic podcast. And they operate Muse Massage Spa in the beautiful city of Toronto. If you are in Toronto, from Toronto, musemassagespA.com. Right now, there is a deal just for you. Right now, there's a deal just for you to go and meet the lady of your dreams. Choose your Muse, your treatment. Check out the spa online at Muse Massage Spa. But most importantly, download their podcast. They're sexologists, educators, and advocates for the sex work industry, and their podcast is awesome. You can get it at Crier Media, crier.co. You can also get what they do on their Patreon channel, Muse on the Mic, Patreon, and on YouTube. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. Learn a thing or two about the body rub industry. Learn a thing or two from two advocates, sexologists, entrepreneurs, accountable women who've been in this industry for a long time. And make sure you go to musemassagespA.com and book your appointment with your favorite Muse. We're also brought to you by underwear. Gitch, not just any underwear. The best boxer briefs in the world, engineered for any level of performance as well as everyday life. Buy 3, get 1 free. Promo code GITCH3. Use it at checkout. They've got a ton of different colors. edsfineimports.com. Again, go to edsfineimports.com. Use that promo code when you check out. Buy 3 or more. You'll get the 4th for free. What a nice guy. Free stuff for you. He'll give you another 15% off your entire purchase. And you'll receive an exclusive access to arrivals, promotions, contest invites, and more when you give him your email address. He does not spam. He does not sell information. He just wants to make sure that you get cheap stuff, the best stuff, specifically these underwear. Gitch, engineered for any level of performance as well as everyday life. Boxer briefs with the pouch in the front. Gitch3 is your promo code. Again, edsfineimports.com. And, of course, brought to you by factcheck.io. You know, who'd have thunk disinformation will be used to fight wars and start wars. Who'd have thunk disinformation will be used to separate human beings from legitimate objective reality? Nobody. That's why fact check exists. FAKTCHEK.io, factcheck.io. You want to believe what you read. You want to be able to ascertain whether or not what you're reading is legitimate. You want to know if the video you just watched is the one that someone told you what you were watching was accurate, right? You want authenticity. You want to verify what you're looking at, reading, and experiencing is real. So do the people at Fact Check. Fact Check is a disinformation killer. Anything written, any URL, any video, any picture, any spoken word, the Shazam of fact checking is here. And they're looking for beta testers. They're also looking for your support. These are scientists. These are journalists. These are people with a legitimate, concerned interest for the information that we all take part in, and the information's super highway, and they need your help. They want you to test their software, and you can join their beta team today. Go to factcheck.io, FAKTCHEK.io. Sign up for their beta program, refer a friend, and you will be a verified fact checker in no time at all. They've gamified the process as well, and you want to know what you're reading to be true or false, you can do that with a baseline here at factcheck.io. Join their beta team today. Again, FAKTCHEK.io. Fact check. Do you believe? Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.